Hello everyone, it is Tarabella here, and this is part two of the trip to Lake Washington. Um, yeah, thanks for tuning in, and here we go. Okay, so first, in order to really go into what happened and how the trip to Lake Washington went, I have been encouraged by my producer, who is my sister, to be a little bit more transparent about my mental health issues. And so here we go. I say here we go a lot. Anyway, so first thing, I think that everybody has their own special cocktail of crazy, and mine just happens to include rapid cycle manic depression, which is essentially like bipolar, only instead of swinging from the manic to the depressed side once or twice a year, like someone with bipolar does, I swing 3 or 4 times a year. Super fun. Also, I have obsessive compulsive disorder, and that affects a lot of things, and that's like a whole nother video. But a lot of times people with obsessive compulsive disorders get into these cycles of obsessive thinking. It's super great for when you're having to figure out complicated things, like, I don't know, super complicated things, to be able to be super focused on things. I can figure out how things work. So that's that fun part of it. And also there is PTSD and anxiety. I think everybody's pretty much kind of knows what that is. And the last little icing on the cake is recently I was diagnosed with agoraphobia. That's kind of the quick way of explaining it is the fear of leaving the house or leaving your home or property or whatever. For me, it stems more from I'm a migraine patient, and I also have something called spondylitis. That it's an inflammatory disease that fuses your spine together. Fun. And I also have degenerative disc disease and arthritis. So it makes it really difficult for me to get around. I can't walk for more than like 30 minutes at a time, and you know, all of that. So that's where the agoraphobia comes from. I leave the house maybe 4 times a month, and that's usually to go see doctors and therapists and specialists and stuff for all of the medical stuff. So yeah, there's that history of the mental health stuff. And so now we can get into the trip to Lake Washington. All right, so setting the scene. I am currently in my low swing of the manic depression. And that affects my work as much as I don't like to admit it, because I'm stubborn. So we get up to doing the fitting up in Lake Washington. The whole thing was like an exposure therapy. Exposure therapy is putting yourself in kind of an uncomfortable position or situation, something that triggers you, so that you can have the practice of bringing yourself back down out of the panic. So we get to Lake Washington and we start the fitting, and nothing fit right. Yes, lots of like little minor alterations and everything, totally normal for fittings, but it hit me harder because I was in this like the lower swing of things. And so the plan was to spend the night and make these alterations and then come home the next morning. And so having the fitting go so, I wouldn't even say it went poorly, but in my head it went really badly, and I started this like internal obsessive dialogue of, you know, that I'm a terrible artist and I don't know what I'm doing and all of this. And so I played it off to the client, or tried to play it off to the client, that that there were so many changes that I just needed to get back to my workshop and that I would do them there. So internally I'm like freak out mode, and so I packed all my shit and I put it in the van and I fucking bolted and drove straight home. This is a 4.5-hour drive, and after just doing a 4.5-hour drive, and you know, totally not, oh my god, totally not something that I should have done. But anyway, so I got home in the middle of the night. And so yeah, that's how the fitting went in Lake Washington. My advice to other artists that are struggling with mental health issues, first I would say that you're not alone. I don't think I've ever met an artist that didn't have some kind of cocktail of crazy going on. And my advice then would be to know yourself. You know, pay attention to how you react to things. Pay attention to your emotional cycles and do something about it. Go to therapy. Therapy does help. It helps to have someone outside of your social circle that actually knows what the fuck they're doing to help you through kind of the rough stuff. So yeah, take care of yourself and do your art. There's a reason why they have art and craft projects in like treatment facilities, because it helps. So do your art, know yourself, get help.